Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel, and you're going to join me in Uppermill as I continue my Micklehurst Loop Line series. In today's video, we're going to be exploring part 2 of the Micklehurst Loop, the section between the western portal of Butterhouse Tunnel and the eastern portal of the Royal George Tunnel. Now, before we get back to the video, I just want to explain how part 1 works. Now, in the early days of my channel, I explored the Micklehurst Loop Line part 1, exploring the Butterhouse Tunnel. However, the quality of the light in the tunnel wasn't great. So earlier this year, I decided to go back with a proper LED torch and redo the video with better quality. So if you haven't seen any of the 2 videos, I'll leave a link in the description below, and then you can follow this video as part 2. Anyway, see you soon. So you're going to join me on Greenfield Road, or Butterhouse Road. Now, if you have a look behind me, I'm actually stood on a bridge of a picture that I'm going to show you, and what you've got here is vegetation. Now, it looks like it's just completely trees and bushes. However, at one point, all this area here was a very, very deep cutting. And it's hard to believe it was, but you can see the sidewalls there. But down there, buried right down there, is the western end of the Butterhouse Tunnel, or Greenfield Tunnel, because I'm on Greenfield Drive here. So yeah, buried right down here is the Butterhouse Tunnel portal. So I've just moved along slightly, and roughly about here was the entrance of the tunnel portal, and I can't see any remains. So just to be a bit more clear, this bridge here is where the tunnel and the cutting would have ran underneath, so you would have been able to get underneath. And then the line then continued that way. So we're going to head that way and head towards Uppermill. So the train would have exited underneath here, making its way underneath all this. Now, the tunnel and this area was actually filled in, I think, in 1980. So think about all the earth. Now you can see where the line goes. And yeah, you would have had a deep cutting right here that had led underneath that bridge and gone in towards the tunnel portal. Now you'd think the line would have continued this way, but it's actually was slightly to the left, so the cutting obviously would have come out here somewhere and then progressed along here. So let's see what we can find on our way to Uppermill station. So I think the train then would have headed across here, moving along this way. So again, I'm on the current bridleway, so most of the line from here towards Staley Bridge is now converted into a bridleway. Now, you'd think that I was walking along the actual track bed, but I think the track was more this way, which is where we're going to head towards. Just come to this little cut-off point here where it splits into 2 now. Again, you'd think the line would have gone that way, but I think this is our track bed. So let's walk along here and see what we can find. So yeah, I think this is track level, so this will have been the actual line. Now it did split, it was actually a 2-track line, so you can see it's kind of wide enough for 2 tracks. Even though vegetation has kind of grown over. So we're going to come towards the Uppermill station, which opened in 1886, but it had a short tenure, so it only operated till 1917. So I think the station house is still there. So let's head along. Coming towards a nice little wooden bridge as we come towards the station. Now, these are modern bridges, so they're not actually They weren't part of the line. You can see really it's quite thin. So this will have been like part of the bridleway conversion. Just heading over the road. I think down here we're getting towards Uppermill station. So I believe I'm at the site of Uppermill station. So I think the station house is down here now. I'm gonna be careful not to. It is a private residence, so I'm gonna go onto the public road and then just get you a shot of the Uppermill station. There's some steps leading off onto the road, so I'm just gonna go down here and stand across the road and just get you a shot of the old station house. So just over there is Uppermill station, and look at the nice red brick. It's still quite intact, or it is a private residence. Just unexpectedly, I had a nice little chat with the guy that owns the station house. So he's just given me permission just to film a little bit of history of how the station used to operate. So you've got the station house here, so I'm going to still be respectful. Now he said that here would be the entrance into the station. Now he said he left it to overgrow, and if you just have a look up here, you can see the remains of where the stairs would have gone up. And he said there was like some sort of tunnel that went across, so your passengers could get to the other side. Yeah, just have a look there. That would have been the original entry into the station. So it said that there used to be another bridge that went across here. Now that bridge has been made as part of the bridleway. Now you can see that a lot of the structure is old blue brick, and that this part here is modern repairs. Now just up there you've got an abutment where the old bridge would have crossed over. And just have a look over there, you can see that they've had to make adjustments so that they could build the footbridge. So that was Uppermill Station, again opening in 1886 and closing to passengers in 1917, even though I think some of it was still used up until 1966 when the full line closed. Anyway, I'm going to head back onto the track bed now and make my way on towards Friesland Station. So as we walk along to Friesland, we're coming up to like a leisure centre. Now, I believe what I've been told, this was like a coal yard or a goods yard. Obviously it's clearly gone, and there's now the Saddleworth Pool and Leisure Centre. So yeah, here's the leisure centre. So it's Saddleworth Pool and Leisure Centre, but this was once occupied by a goods shed. I think all the houses were down here. So we just approached this modern repair bridge. You can see the old masonry on the outside. Well, you can obviously see these metal sheets have been filled in, put underneath to support the old brickwork. Part of the bridleway. Looking back that way towards Uppermill. Just a nice little look at the bridge there. So let's make our way this way towards the Friesland Station. Got this here and it looks like it's made of old railway sleepers. I wonder if it was like a ballast bin or something. I'm not sure. That was originally here. Another one as we head along. Slightly taller this time. But I wonder if these were ballast bins. I'm not sure. Just leave a comment at the bottom. And a third one. So there's 3 of these on the way, so I'm still again not sure exactly what they are, but they look like they're made of old railway wood or railway sleepers. So we're just approached I won't say it's a deep cutting, but it's like a very small cutting. About 30 feet maybe. It's nice and quiet. Now this will have been part of the track bed that headed towards Friesland station, but there was a viaduct that's been demolished. I think it was demolished in the 70s. So when we get up there, I'm going to show you where I think it started and ended. It looks like we've actually got a nice structure coming up as well, so let's have a look at this structure as we get there. Bench there, I'm not sure that's more modern or if it was built out of old railway. It looks like it potentially was. Looks like old railway wood to me, but you guys tell me. So we've just made it to this nice little piece of infrastructure. So it looks more like a viaduct, but it's just a footbridge. You can see that it's made out of, well, I think it looks like blue brick. You can see patches of red, but to me it looks like blue engineering brick. Nice stunning piece of structure. We've got a couple of arches going across, maybe a third one hidden behind that vegetation, I'm not too sure. Well, it just shows you never know what's going to happen in life, and this could just come at you. It didn't fall down on me, don't worry, but fallen tree here. Hopefully I'll get picked up soon. Now, we're just heading towards like Greenfield area, and we're approaching where I believe there was a viaduct. So I think it passed all the way from where I am here, and it headed towards Friesland station. So let's have a look and see if we can pinpoint where the viaduct started and ended. So you're looking at the track bed coming this way and heading this way. Now you can see there's like a little walkway onto the street, but our track bed would have carried on here, and you would have had a viaduct that crossed over towards Friesland. So if we have a little walk through here, see if we can pinpoint where the viaduct started. So this is the embankment. And what you'll find is this is where our viaduct, I think it was called Greenfield Viaduct, started. And apparently it went really high up, so we might be looking at it being on higher ground. But there's no remains of the viaduct, no stone or brickwork left, literally just completely gone. And I think it was demolished in the 1970s. Maybe that little wall over there might have been just a little something that remained, I'm not sure. So where we're looking here, now is where a viaduct would have gone right across through here. So I just made it onto Chew Valley Road, and the viaduct would have spanned across right over Chew Valley Road and made it this way towards Friesland. So you're looking at the location of where the Greenfield Viaduct would have made its end. Now, I don't think there's any remains of it left. However, just looking at that walling down there, may have been the base of one of the arches, because just behind the trees over there is the embankment to where the viaduct ended. So the last arch would have, so I think we are looking at maybe some remains of that viaduct just there. If I just zoom in, you can see some loose brick, and it looks like old blue railway wall, so I think that this potentially was some of the viaduct remains. So just down there was the walling that I was talking about, and this is the embankment as to where the viaduct's last arch would have made its end. So let's have a little walk up here, just through this these woods. But I don't think we're going to come across any more remains of that viaduct, and I think it was closed when the line closed, obviously. I think it may have been demolished in around the 1970s. But as you can see, there's no hidden remains or any stone or brickwork left of the viaduct. Just have a little look up here. And there's nothing, absolutely nothing left, apart from this wooden table. So the viaduct, yeah, would have stopped around about here and then gone back that way towards Uppermill. So as we walk out this way, I think this was the site of Friesland railway station. So the viaduct will have been there, and here, and just behind these trees here, is the Friesland station. I think the station house still remains as well, so I'm gonna have a little look and see what I can find. So there's a shot, station house, and the old Friesland station. So here's another shot. I think somewhere around here was the entrance into the station. There's the station house. Obviously there's a fence being built up now. I'm not sure if someone lives in there. That's looking back towards the viaduct. Station's here, or was here. So I'm going to head on now to where I'm going to conclude the video. So I'm going to head towards the Royal George pub in Greenfield, where there was a 140-yard tunnel. So that was Friesland railway station. So that would have been the second railway station on the line out of the four. Again, opening in 1886, and again having a short tenure, closing in 1917, and then closing to freight traffic in 1965. So we're just looking here at the track bed now. It looks like the track's here, but you can see how there's a dip that comes down. Well, I think our track bed, looking back towards Friesland station, was here, making its way this way. You can see how it inclines again. I think, like I said, this was built for the bridleway, so this isn't actually part of the track bed. The track bed's actually in there. Now it is all overgrown with vegetation, so it's not worth going in and actually looking, see if we can find any hidden relics. We're just taking a little look down there. You can see some like fence posts, small fence posts. Now they'll have been there for years. You can actually see that they were railway related fence posts. There's quite a few of them actually. You can see one there, and a few back there, so there'll be probably a lot more within that vegetation, but I am not going in there. So we're just looking over there.
that would have been the track, but it's private property or private land anyway. So just walking adjacent to the track bed. I'm not sure what the purpose of this is for, but I think when we get down here, we'll be able to see. I think it's used for horse schooling. So, yeah, it's a horse schooling area. You can see here, horse schooling area. So used part of the track bed as the horse school. Bench made out of railway sleepers. It does have, I thought it had some writing engraved in. No, it doesn't. It does look like all railway wood or sleeper bench. So as we come towards the Royal George Tunnel and the Royal George pub, I'll just point out where we are now. So you've got the main Huddersfield Manchester line just over there. So this is obviously part of the loop. So you've got the other line running across just behind them trees. So you can see where we've made the loop from the Butterhouse tunnel. So we're on to track bed level again. And again, it kind of splits off here, making it look like we had a wide, but I think the track bed still was there. I don't think it was actually here. I think this might have been part of one of them. Oh, you can see how it all slopes up there, so I think, yeah, potentially we are on track level. Some old railway walling here, I think. Looks like it's stone, so these support the cutting. So you can see it was like a small cutting here. Because I think now we're approaching where the Royal George Tunnel would have gone underneath the Royal George pub. So what we're looking at here now is track bed and all this vegetation, and just under there we have a tunnel portal somewhere. Maybe not here, I think it's further on actually. Now if I just take a little zoom in there, you can see the old railway fence posts. Now, like I said, we're looking at track bed, however under here would have been a massive cutting, and just round about here is where you would have had the tunnel portal. So the tunnel was only 140 yards long. So yeah, buried right under here we have a tunnel portal. So that was the Micklehurst Loop Part 2, so covering the area between Butterhouse Tunnel and the Royal George Tunnel, which is just running underneath where I'm stood now. So on Part 3 of the venture, we're going to begin the journey from the Royal George pub towards the Staley and Millbrook station. So take care for now, guys. Bye bye.